Three. Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Today I'm going to share with you the math books that we use from like kindergarten up through 6th grade. This isn't a 6th grade book, but it's the same series. And I'm going to show you a couple different formats you can find these in and what my recommendation would be for each book. So if you followed the channel for any amount of time, oh gosh, last year or two, we discovered the Number Stories book, probably about 2 years ago. And I used to use the original versions of this. I had Number Stories book 1 and 2 by, I think it's several authors, but Studebaker is the main one. And we used those, and then I think I gifted them to somebody or lent them to somebody, and I didn't get them back. I honestly don't remember where they went, but you would have to find like a vintage copy. I have mentioned in previous videos that there is somewhat of a discussion around lead in old books. Like some of the paint may have been lead based. So I did try to find other sources besides just the old books, just to err on the side of safety, although I'm not really overly concerned about it. These were printed originally in the 40s. So I just wanted to show you a couple different formats. Let's start with Number Stories book 1. This one would be, I'd say kindergarten to 1st grade. That's when we used it. So this is the exact version I used. I think this might have been even, let me see what's the publication date. There's more than one, I think there's at least 2 editions of Number Stories 1 and 2. And you'll see them when you look at them. If you see, I think the ones that have like the teddy bears on the covers, I think those ones are a tiny bit newer. They were just written a couple years after, like the versions that we used were slightly older and they had like clowns on them. Yeah, this one doesn't say the original publication date. This reprint was by Living Book Press, and I'll link to where you can find it. It looks like this on the inside. So this is obviously like new font, new text that they have put in. I will say, like, I do prefer the layout of the original hard copy books. And how much was this? Number Stories book 1. Yeah. Okay, so this soft cover was about $12. And the other place, so this is Living Book Press. I mean, it's okay. This is the soft covers. I literally only bought this to show you guys. I kind of wanted to see what the size and quality of it is. It's very thin, so I don't know. This might hold up through a couple kids, but there is also a hardback version. I think for $20 on there. The other place I think that I've seen it is Forgotten Books. So they're forgottenbooks.com. You can buy the PDF, or you can be subscribed to their website for a monthly fee, and you can get as many things off of there as you want. At this point, I feel like I work for them. I'm like always talking about them and how you can find these books there. They also offer reprints that you can usually buy through Amazon, and I'll show you one of those. I have one of those in a different level. They are more expensive than the Living Book Press, and I don't know, I wouldn't dish out a whole bunch of money on like a kindergarten book or anything. This was something that was nice to work through. I do appreciate that the colors are illustrated in the Living Book Press version. And the Forgotten Books version is, I think, the 1941 version or something, and this might be like the 1945 version. They're just a couple years apart. Maybe it's even 1938 or something like that, the original one. But I would say either one are fine. They're just covering, counting, telling numbers, how many, higher, highest, small, smaller, smallest, missing numbers, like just very number sense kind of beginner stuff. This one, like, I'll just open to a random page, find the picture. How many pictures are on this page, right? They said there's 3. Which monkeys are in picture 1? Oh, these are characters. They introduced to like these little characters in the book. So they would tell you that's Jojo and what's the other one? Jerry. The thing to remember about forgottenbooks.com is that and I learned this the hard way, and I'll show you later. Whatever version, whatever scan that they have, they're not necessarily if it's missing information, there's no disclaimer that it's missing information, or they don't it's not being rejected because it's missing a lot of information, especially images that you may actually need to do math lessons. So I did run into that as a problem, since I didn't use that one for book 1, but I used it for Number Stories book 2 with my youngest, because I still had the hard copy when I was with my middle son using it. And I had to end up, I was just going through drawing in pictures, a lot of stuff like that, or coloring things in as I went. I'm just typing this in as I talk to you. If you go to forgottenbooks.com and you search Number Stories, you can't put book 1 or whatever in there, it won't come up. I find I have to just put in Number Stories. Now there are more than one. There's more than one book titled Number Stories, so you gotta scoot down. It's about the 3rd row down. It's a red one. It says Number Stories Volume 1, and it's by John Ward Studebaker. That's the correct copy. And when I look at it, I can just click Read Now to preview it. It's all in black and white. The illustrations are not in color, which is part of what I loved so much about the hard copy book, is that it had these really vibrantly colored, really charming illustrations. So yeah, even though the Number Stories Volume 1 or Book 1 on forgottenbooks.com, it looks complete, it is not in color. And so for that reason, I would say it's worth it to buy a hard copy version from Living Book Press. Living Books or Living Book? Living Book Press. Okay, on to Number Stories Book 2. So they do have, Living Book Press has book 2 of this as well. I didn't order that one, but I would assume it's going to be the same, quality. It looked like it was also, in color. So on forgottenbooks.com, so it is in color, most of it, but it's really weird. There'd be these sections where the children, their skin tone wouldn't come in. And so we did a lot of, I don't know if you can tell, but on this page, all these kids were these 3 kids were completely white like the paper, and these ones had color. And so I will say that though, that my son enjoyed coloring in. Every time we saw one of them, he's oh, and he'd get his little pencil out and color them in skin tone. So I actually did use the PDF version for Number Stories Book 2 for my youngest, and it worked fine enough. But like I said, there definitely were times where there was stuff missing. Here's a page where it cut off the end of the problem, and so I just kind of had to guess, what the end of the problem was, and I wrote it in. I think there was times things like this. See, this is completely cut off, and same over here. And since they are really using the illustrations, you really need them for the lessons. I would not recommend forgottenbooks.com for Number Stories Book 2. I would recommend going with Living Book Press or finding an original hard copy. Be careful on Amazon. Forgotten Books does have reprints, and so you have to really look at when you click on it, look at it and make sure it's not from forgottenbooks.com, because what I did learn is that whatever PDF they have is the PDF that they have, and that's what they use even on their books, that their hard copy books. So I would not recommend Number Stories Book 1 or 2 from forgottenbooks.com, but rather from Living Book Press or an original copy. There is a Number Stories Book 3. And I had the 3rd one. Again, I think I lent that out or let someone borrow it and did not get it back. I don't know where it is. And I do not see that in forgottenbooks.com. I don't think they have book 3 in there. Living Book Press also does not have number 3. But that's okay. I don't think you really need book 3, because this is when we switch over to the Study Arithmetics series. And here is my forgottenbooks.com PDF version. This version I do recommend. So this version is complete. Most of the illustrations are in color. I have not had issues with this PDF version. yeah, so this year has been a lot less frustrating for me to have a good PDF versus last year with him with Number Stories Book 2, which was very incomplete. I mean, it was work. It was doable. I just, filled in whatever, kind of made things up on the spot, but you don't want to have to be doing that if you don't have to. I will say, so now the plus side to the forgottenbooks.com is the teacher guidebooks, which are also, the answer key as well. So you can get those. You won't need them with Number Stories Book 1 and 2. You probably don't even really need them with Study Arithmetics Book 3, but they start to become convenient for checking work, right? Because sometimes you're getting to the point where you're not sitting with the child all day, shoulder to shoulder on their math. You're starting to give them a set of problems, and sometimes it's nice just to bring it to me when you're done and we'll check it, right? So how I check it is I downloaded from forgottenbooks.com. This is Study Arithmetics grade 3, 4, and 5, and I just combine them all into one. I just put, dividers in. So, and I've got one kid who's in book 3 and one kid that's in book 4 right now. So I've got their book placed in different spots. But this is also really nice. Like my older son who's in book 4 right now, he can check his own work, and so I can have him do his work, and then I can have him find his answers in the teacher guide and start checking his work. That's something that you're definitely going to want, the teacher guides or the answer keys, especially as they get older. I have found just a few mistakes in the answer keys, just to make you full disclosure. There have been times where I think there was like an issue with the printing. Like there was one time where everything was only like 1 digit and there should have been like a 2-digit answer. So it's like somehow the second digit wasn't getting printed. They don't give, so there are sections that they don't give answers for. Like every once in a while you will run into some little problem set that they don't give answers for. I'm assuming that's because they just assumed that you would be doing those kind of as a teacher, as like example problems with them maybe, and they weren't considered like a homework or, individual practice set. So every once in a while, I don't know, I've made myself, like if I thought there was something missing that I really wanted to actually just be homework, I may just have written in the answer myself. And I'll do that because I know, especially with my, my middle son who we're using this for, because I know we're going to use these books for my youngest. And so I will be using these teacher guides again. So if I notice anything, I just make a note of it in here. But overall, they're worth getting and they're helpful. And honestly, all types of books and textbooks have errors in them, right? Here, I just found one. Here's one. Looks like there were several like mistakes, and I just corrected them myself this day. So Study Arithmetics, grade 3. I do recommend the PDF version, or a mix of the PDF, at least the guidebook / answer key with an original text if you have it. Also, if you did want to go the route to get a hard copy but a reprint, I would think that the Forgotten Books version as a reprint, since the scanned version that they have for the PDF you can download is good, then I would assume that the hard copy versions that you can order off of Amazon from them would also be good. Let me see if they have like a preview section of one. Let me see. Okay, here. So I had to put in, when I was searching on Amazon, I'll put a link to it, but just so you know, in case you're just searching and not going to my links in the description box, you'd have to go to Forgotten Books and then put Study Arithmetics. So it'll bring up their hard copy versions. So it starts with Study Arithmetics, book 3. It's called Classic Reprints. And there is no preview. I hate that when there's not a preview. Okay, but I would assume that it's going to be the same PDF as what you could see on their website, forgottenbooks.com. So I would think it would be okay. I can't totally confirm because I haven't actually bought one and I can't preview it. But let's see, a hardcover is about $35 and a paperback is $25. So, okay, moving on to Study Arithmetics 4. All right, so I do have a hard copy of this one, and I also have a PDF version that I have in here. All right, so this was like, if you don't have a subscription to forgottenbooks.com. I think it was $9 for that PDF, and then like another $9 for the answer key. So that's $18, and then you have to print it and put it in a binder or whatever. I want to say to buy a vintage copy, I want to say I usually find these for about $15, I would say, on like eBay or someplace like that, or thriftbooks or A-Books, one of those places. And I just look for a good copy. This one looked great. It does, this version here does match up with the Forgotten Books answer key. Isn't it so sweet? I love these ones. This is a lot of addition, long division, remainders. Oh, I think we're starting to get into fractions, dividing, you know, big numbers, watching their signs. There's a lot of reading comprehension, which I really appreciate. There's a lot of built-in. They're slowly introducing math facts, you know, multiplication and division math facts. And so there's drill worked in. There are these like checking up, which are like review pages. There are tests in the back if you would like to also give a test. So here's some more, like there is drill built in for math facts. They have these sections that are like without paper, so mental math sections, which I like. Yeah, fractions. I just really like the way that they teach stuff, the way they lay it out. And everything, there's like there's a few different kinds of, there's like consistent with every chapter. It's like a consistent way that they lay out, they give you the lesson. There's, you know, it's a practical application, and then they break it out into, you know, just different practice sets. Time is on there. So I pointed this out before, but something I do like is that they do use like cursive throughout the book, so the kids keep, you know, practicing their cursive. They're reading it. See, whenever they have anything handwritten, it's in cursive. To me, that's a plus. There's a focus on vocabulary, words you should know, measures. Yeah, they kind of get into conversions, right? There are standard review tests in the back. So, yeah, I would say that the forgottenbooks.com PDF is fine. The original is good. Or I would say it's a pretty safe bet to do the Forgotten Books hard copy, like reprint on Amazon. Again, I'll link all those options for you in the description box. This is the video I wish I had had because I have just been muddling my way through this shopping process. Okay, Study Arithmetics, Book 5. Again, this is an original copy, obviously. So no longer are the books are the illustrations in color. By book 5 or grade 5, they have dropped the color for the most part. Every once in a while you'll see, like at the very beginning of a new concept, those conceptual pages, or they're putting it in context. You may see one, but not as much as you have been. Here's just another little one, just here and there. They still have there's self-testing drills, which they've been having. They had those in book 4 too. So again, we're just progressing in more division, bigger numbers, double-digit divisors. Fractions are progressing, adding fractions with different denominators. Changing two fractions in subtraction. Subtracting proper fractions from mixed numbers. They've got a graph on there. It's just a great little book. I just love these books. Problems in measuring, back to measurement. So I guess you would call this a spiral, right? Like every book, every year, they're just progressing through those same areas, but they keep coming back, right? We're coming back to fractions, but it's harder, right? We're coming back to division, but it's harder, right? Coming back to measurements, but it's harder. Let me show you what the PDF version looks like that I have. Yeah, so when I print it out in PDF, right, obviously it prints out. Maybe you could when I printed it, it just printed like full page. And this was a good, like I would say this was a good PDF. So I would, since this is a good PDF and I have not seen any missing information, there are, yeah, some of those randomly, sporadically colorized illustrations are in the PDF as well. So yeah, I would think that either the original version, the Forgotten Books PDF, or the Forgotten Books reprints on Amazon would all be good options for this one. And again, the version of the PDF, right? The version that looks like this matches the answer key from ForgottenBooks.com. Book 6. Again, I don't have an original copy of Book 6. I do have the PDF version for one. I also have the Forgotten Books reprint, and I picked up a hard copy version. How much was this one? Let me see. I think this one right now is going for about $30. So to me, the PDF looks good. It looks clean. It doesn't look like it's missing anything that I can see, like I had with some of those earlier ones. And this is what it looks like pre-printed for you. Yeah, it looks really good to me. So I'm happy with Book 6 as a reprint. So again, I would say either an original, a reprint is fine from Forgotten Books, or the PDF would all be good versions. And again, ForgottenBooks.com has the answer key to this that would match. Okay, I do not have Study Arithmetics Book 7. What I do have is, again, these are all related. All these books, all these series, like the number stories, the Study Arithmetics, and then these books like Mathematics and Life, which I'm going to show you some, and the Your Mathematics. Some of these things, right, are basically the same books printed under different titles, because they're printing them, I think a lot of them, some of them are being printed in Canada, some of them are in the States. And so there's maybe slight variations, like, you know, what coins they're using or something in the money sections. I'm not sure exactly if they just switched publishers and so they got a new name. But I think you could go Study Arithmetics. I believe Book 7 does exist, but I have not been able to track one down, and ForgottenBooks.com does not have a scan of that one. So they also, therefore, they don't have a PDF, but then they also don't have a reprint, right, to buy a pre-printed version for you. I did find Mathematics and Life, which is targeted, it's called a junior high school 3-book series. So I think back when they were printing these books, grammar school, elementary school went through 6th grade. By the time I came along, there was no junior high, it was middle school, right? So it was K through 5, and then it's 6, 7, 8, and then high school is, 9 through 12. So back then, obviously, it was, K through 6, and then 7, 8, 9 was junior high, and then 10, 11, 12 would be high school. That's what it was in my parents' era. Maybe that is different. It depends. We were in Oregon in the U.S., so it's different. But so this would be, I think, I would say Book 1 would be roughly a 7th grade math book by those standards. This one, like, I bought this book and it looks like it's never been used. I was so excited. And let's see, who are the authors on it? You can see similar illustration styles, right? This one was published in 1948. This is their previous copyrights in 1946, 1942, 1937, 1936. So these are all from the same publisher, but Scott Forsman and Company. This one, I'm not sure it even tells us who the authors were. Oh wait, it is, Knight, Studebaker, and Tate. But you will have seen some of those, if you're looking through these books, you'll notice, especially Studebaker on like all of these. So same kind of group of people, same publisher, continuing on their work. So I have Mathematics and Life, Book 1, Book 2, so that would be like 8th grade. And I believe there is a Book 3, which I couldn't track down, but I think another another title that these are basically the same ones that they are published under is called Your Mathematics. Yeah, same publisher, Scott Forsman and Company. This one was by George Hawkins and Gladys Tate. You recognize Tate from the last one. Copyright, this one was 1953, the version I have. There's previously 1948. So they're going to go this one. So if you're wondering, so they were up to 9th grade in this one. There's review of arithmetic, percentages, formulas, signed numbers and equations, direct measurement, indirect measurement, the mathematics of business, the mathematics of finance, review of the year's work. Then there's self-help tests and practice. So they were really trying to teach the kids how to use math in real life. So sometimes I do run into stuff like, especially when they're talking about the prices of things, obviously it's very low. Like they were having, like we're always having like little toy stores in our like lower grades, things like that. And they're like, oh yeah, this toy plane is 7 cents. So the prices are kind of off. So you can also talk to your kids about inflation, right? They still have those, like, look, they still have those without pencil sections. So I like to have these books have like a continuity through them. So this one I bought does have an original teacher guidebook, an answer key that came with it. My problem is, personally, and I have not seen any reprints of this one or PDFs of this one, the third one. These ones I have not been able to yet track down answer keys for them. And let's see, except for Mathematics and Life, book 1. So there was a PDF version on ForgottenBooks.com, and I was so excited, and I printed this whole darn thing out, right? And then I was going through it, and it's missing just tons and tons of graphics that you have to do the lessons. Like there's just tons and tons of these like blank spots all throughout it, right? Here's another, like it's seriously almost every page. And I was so, like, it's everywhere. And you need the pictures, because it'll be like, look at the picture. See, you're like, what picture? And I contacted Forgotten Books, and they said, yep, basically, they don't own the hard copies of these books. They've somehow just acquired scans from other places or people. I don't know how they get their scans. So it's not like they have these books in hard copy, and that they have not made these scans themselves. So do not use Mathematics and Life book 1 from ForgottenBooks.com because it's unusable. I literally kept it I've kept this for ages just so I could show you guys. It's like I can't throw that away until I show them how it's not usable. I was so disappointed. And I don't know that I ever saw an answer key for it either. So for us personally, we are definitely going to use Number Stories, book 1 and 2. Then we'll switch over to Study Arithmetics, book 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I would love to switch over to the Mathematics and Life or the Your Mathematics, but I would have to find 2 more answer keys for book 1 and book 2. So I'll be on the hunt for those. I have a couple years before my oldest my middle son gets to those. So otherwise, I may just have to use something else, which is okay. So let's go over what were our recommendations. Okay, so Number Stories, book 1 and 2. I would go with the Living Book Press versions. I'll link them. Study Arithmetics, books 3 through 6. The Forgotten Books copies, PDFs are good. And they have the answer keys to all of those. You also can buy their pre-printed versions. I'll print it out for you. You can buy them through Amazon. The only thing, unfortunately, is this is a really hideous cover. And for one of the reasons that I love these books is I love the aesthetic of them. To look at this kind of breaks my heart. So I've actually been thinking about how can I make a book cover so I can make my own book cover and cover this up because I hate it so much. But it reminds me of the 90s. Okay. But I still love the books. I am thankful to have a hard copy version because this is a lot easier to put in their baskets than like a binder size, right? This is more convenient. Although the binder size, if you like me, I actually have very poor eyesight. It does print larger and it is easier to read and see. So if you have a kid, or maybe you are a little bit visually challenged, the PDFs are larger print. So that is actually helpful. See the links down below. I hope they're helpful to you, and happy homeschooling.